Ladies and gentlemen, if any of you are still out there, this is Empire State Emergency Radio. My name isn't important. What matters is that you're hearing this. If you're hiding in a basement, trapped in an office, or crawling through rubble, stay with me. I'm broadcasting from a location I won't disclose, powered by generators that won't last forever. What I describe next isn't a horror story. It's our reality. It started underground. 5 days ago, a subway tunnel collapsed near City Hall Station. Construction crews found more than rocks and twisted metal. They cracked open a sealed chamber, a forgotten Cold War biolab, buried when paranoia ran thicker than concrete. Inside, something woke up. A pathogen, engineered to weaponize fear. By dawn, the first infected staggered onto the streets. Their eyes were black as oil slicks. Their teeth? Well, you've seen them by now. Let me paint Manhattan for you, not the skyline you remember. No more postcard sunsets over the Hudson. Tonight, the only lights are fires. Abandoned taxis burn like funeral pyres. The air reeks of gasoline and rotting meat. And the sounds. God, the sounds. Not just screams anymore. Now it's wet, tearing noises. The crunch of bone under boots. The guttural moans that never stop. Our first hero died nameless. A bike courier weaving through traffic when it hit. He saw a woman convulsing near Bryant Park, went to help her. She lunged, not at his throat, but his forearm. Tore through tendons like paper. He bled out in minutes. But here's the ugly truth. He rose faster, 3 minutes flat. His first act as one of them? Ripping the throat from a cop trying to cuff the original woman. That's how fast this moves. One bite, 3 minutes. Then you're hunting. But we fought back. Early wins. Remember? That barricade at Union Square? Survivors dragged dumpsters, pianos, even a goddamn food truck across Broadway. Held the line for 6 hours. I watched from a rooftop. Watched a nurse in scrubs beat back a teenager-turned-monster with a fire extinguisher. Cracked its skull open like a melon. Brains splattered on asphalt. For a moment, we cheered. Then the tunnels flooded. Not with water, with them. They'd been breeding down there in the biolab's womb. Hundreds poured into the financial district at dusk. Glass towers became slaughterhouses. I've got a message here from a trader trapped inside the stock exchange. They're eating Jerry. He's still screaming. Tell my wife. Static cut him off. I won't imagine how it ended. Global scale? Oh, it's spreading. London silent. Tokyo's last broadcast showed Shinjuku Station swarmed. But New York? We're ground zero. And here's the twist. The commuters who survived became soldiers. Call them the containment crew. Office clerks with nail guns. Janitors swinging pipe wrenches. They're not waiting for cavalry that isn't coming. Take Maria, Spanish Harlem grandmother. When those things broke into her building, she didn't pray. She poured boiling oil from her 5th floor fire escape, listened to them shriek as flesh slid off bone, bought time for 14 families to flee. But listen close, heroism has a price. Her building's gone now, overrun an hour ago. All we heard was her final transmission. Vayan. Don't look but... Which brings us to now, midnight. Something's shifting. They're not just shambling anymore. They're learning. Earlier I saw one use a brick to smash a store window. Another crawled upside down on a ceiling like a roach, and the horde... It's converging. Heading north, toward Central Park, where thousands of survivors are camped behind chain link fences and school buses. Final update before I move frequencies. Police scanner just picked up a military fragment. Detonate charges in the Holland Tunnel. Flood it. Contain Brooklyn. Then explosions. Distant, but I felt them in my teeth. If they've sealed the tunnels, we're not containing this. We're caging it. With us inside. Remember what I said about hope? Scratch that. Hope won't save you tonight. Only rage will. So grab whatever's sharp. Find the will to swing it. And if you're near the park, run. Or make your stand. Because the moans outside my door just multiplied. They're coming up the stairs. This is Empire State Emergency Radio. If I go silent, turn off your lights. Don't breathe. And pray they don't hear your heart beating like a drum. We'll try to broadcast again in 1 hour, if we're still here. Empire State Emergency Radio. Still broadcasting. For now. That hour felt like a lifetime. If you heard the screams over the static, if you heard the tearing, you know what happened near my last location. They found the door. I barely got out. The city feels smaller tonight. Darker. And the moans, they're a chorus now. Rising from every shadowed street, every shattered window. It's coming from the north. Central Park. That's where we left off. That's where hell opened its jaws. Thousands thought the park was sanctuary. Chain-link fences reinforced with overturned buses. Trenches dug by hand. Watchtowers made of scaffolding. They thought green grass meant safety. They were wrong. The horde hit the southern perimeter just after midnight. Not a wave, a tsunami. They didn't climb the fences, they piled on them. A living, rotting ladder. The sheer weight brought the first barrier down. Then the screaming started. Real screaming, not the infected groans, human terror. Raw and desperate. I got a message relayed from a rooftop spotter near Columbus Circle. They're inside. Too many. They're pulling people apart. Kids. Oh God, the kids are... Transmission cut. I don't need the rest. You can imagine the red staining the sheep meadow. But listen. The containment crew didn't break. They fought like cornered animals. Saw a group near the carousel. Mechanics, teachers, a security guard. Form a spear wall with sharpened fence posts. Impaled the first line of those things. Black blood sprayed. But the dead don't stop. They crawled over their own fallen, jaws snapping. One got through. Ripped the throat from a woman holding the line. Her blood splashed the others. They didn't flinch. They shoved harder. Bought seconds. Paid in blood. Global news. Forget it. The satellites are silent, but the shortwave crackles with madness. Paris is burning. Moscow's underground metros echo with screams. We're not alone. But here, we found a weapon. Not guns, knowledge. Scavengers near the original tunnel collapse found something. A steel case stamped with a faded biohazard symbol. Inside, not just vials, notes, Cold War plans. This pathogen, it wasn't just designed to kill, it was designed to control, to turn populations into puppets. But the mad scientists left a flaw, a vulnerability to a specific sound frequency. Something about the inner ear structure it hijacks. The notes are fragmented, coded. But the containment crew thinks they can weaponize it. Which brings us to the most brutal hour. While the park became a slaughterhouse, a strike team went back underground, back into the belly of the beast. The flooded tunnels near the biolab. 20 volunteers, armed with welding torches, nail guns, axes, and pure, unadulterated rage. Their mission? Reach the central lab chamber. Access the mainframe. Find that frequency. broadcasted citywide. A Hail Mary drenched in blood. I monitored their communications. Static, guttural breathing, the wet crunch of axes meeting skulls. Then, Sergeant Miller's voice, cold and sharp. Lab entrance breached. Heavy resistance. Jenkins is down. They tore his legs off. He's still biting. Had to put him down. Proceeding. The sounds that followed, metal doors, buckling, inhuman shrieks. A man screaming as something dragged him into the dark. Then, triumph laced with agony. Mainframe room secured. 3 left, setting up the broadcast rig. They're pounding on the door. Hurry the hell up, Davis. Above ground, the park was falling. Survivors were being herded towards the reservoir. Trapped. The horde learned. Used benches as battering rams. Climbed trees to drop onto barricades. A father. I saw him through binoculars. Used his own body as a shield. Threw himself onto 3 of them, clawing at his children. Bought them 10 seconds to run. They ripped him to pieces. His last sound was a roar, not a scream. Then, the sound. From the underground. From every surviving speaker, phone, car, radio in the city. A piercing, oscillating shriek. A digital banshee wail. The effect was instant. The infected, they froze. Not like statues. Like they were being electrocuted. Violent tremors racked their bodies. Heads snapped back. Black ooze poured from eyes, ears, nostrils. Some dropped, twitching. Others clawed at their own skulls, shrieking in a new kind of agony. The frequency, it worked. It was hurting them. The park survivors didn't hesitate. They saw the opening, a surge of desperate humanity. They charged the stunned horde. Not to flee, to kill. Pipes rising and falling, kitchen knives stabbing, fists smashing into rotting faces. It wasn't clean. It was a butcher's ballet. Blood and viscera painted the grass. One man beat a twitching creature with a rock until its head was pulp. Another used a broken bottle to saw through a neck tendon. Rage made them strong. Rage kept them alive. But the lab team paid the price. Miller's final transmission, frequency broadcasting. Doors buckling. They're coming through, detonating the charges. Tell them we held the line. Do it. Do it. Then, the deep, muffled thump felt through the soles of my boots, a section of street near City Hall. It collapsed, swallowed buildings. Fire geysered from the pit. The tunnel, sealed. The lab, gone. Miller and his last 2, gone. Their fire consumed the immediate horde underground. The sound stopped. The surviving infected in the park, they recovered. Slower, confused, but still hungry, still deadly. The survivors fought their way out. Not victors, not saved, just alive. For now. The cost? The park is a charnel house. The tunnels are tombs. The frequency bought a breath, not a cure. A final message just crackled over the police band from a crew leader holed up near Grand Central. We're not hiding anymore. We're hunting. Block by block. Room by room. We burn the nests. We put them down. This is our city. They made us into monsters to fight monsters. So be it. Rage is the only fuel left. Use it. So here's the truth as the sun bleeds over a broken skyline. The cavalry isn't coming. The government? Gone. The world? Dying. It's just us, the infected and the enraged. Empire State Emergency Radio. Signing off. Grab your weapon, find your rage, and fight. Because they're learning too. And they're still hungry.